let's be honest. You're broke.
I'm all out of money!
Holiday season is here. You're passing Thanksgiving, you hosted. That means you spent bare minimum $300. Coincidentally, in the same month of November, you had a birthday, a random birthday you got invited to, so you had to cough up a gift. December is here. You got a couple of kids, some you may know, some you may not. You obviously gotta buy wifey something, and you gotta buy the mistress something, while you get a shirt and socks. Nobody thinks about you and the sexy fragrances that you wanna buy this holiday season, but you gotta keep it on a budget. You're strapped for cash, overdraft limit, absolutely hit. And for the first time ever, you figured out that American Express does have a limit. So I'm gonna put you on to 10 budget, boozy, sexy fragrances that you can purchase right now, and it's not gonna hurt the wallet that much.
I'm flying that son of a bitch straight into bankruptcy.
So let's roll my music so I can put you on to 10 budget, boozy fragrances for you to blow the bag. Bars.
Welcome to the YouTube channel that will make you laugh more than a gaggle of unicorns mating in the Serengeti. His wealth of knowledge will make the most astute astrophysicist question. His life decisions, led by his spiritual advisors, Chuck Norris and Walter Mercado, I present to you Mr. Kind of a Big Deal.
Kind of a big deal.
Listen, one of my beautiful peoples, you know who it is. It's your boy C to the U to the B to the A. Let's jump right into this list. Is 10 fragrances of all different type of booze variety. With booze, you can't just stick to whiskey, Cuba. Why not? There's whiskey, there's rum, there's cognacs, there's gins, there's vodka, there's Baileys. You drink that around me, you are suspect. You rarely hear about wine fragrances though. Don't they have a little bit of a wine essence? What, just grapes and like plummy kind of action is where you'll get wine? It's interesting. That might be my new fragrance, a wine one. A little Pinot Gris Noir. So I'm putting you on to 10 budget boozy fragrances for you to blow the bag. And all these fragrances are, I mean, under 50 bucks. Definitely under 60. So let's start off with one that I really like. I like the older variant better, but this is still a solid fragrance, particularly if you're in an area like myself that it's a little bit chillier nowadays. And that's Zara's Rich, Warm, and Addictive. Now this incredible cheapie should be in the space of, wow, you can put a higher price tag on this piece and nobody would ever know that it's a Zara. I mean, I guess that kind of applies to the clothes too, no? Especially with those extra large sizes that fit like a medium. This was all the rage when it first dropped. People were like, wow, I've never experienced such a boozy, leathery fragrance that was warm, coconutish, honey, spicy, very sexy, ultra sultry, and lasted really, really well for sub $30. This was all the hype. This is the first variant. This is my second or third bottle that I've had of this fragrance, and this is the last one that I have because they don't have this variant anymore, but you could still get Rich, Warm, and Addictive, and from what I've smelled on the countertop like display, they're comparable. A ton of body, a nice tobacco smokiness, a hydrating coconut water vibe with a little bit of a thick honey molassesy kind of essence. Gorgeous scent profile, under 40 bucks. You could probably order this joint online and it's fantastic. Next one. Now this is a $9 whiskey fragrance that's actually pretty solid. You've never heard of. I can even forget the brand. Distillery Series Tennessee Whiskey. This joint is about $9 to $12 and is really solid. Definitely the cheapest fragrance on this list, and I got cheapies in here, but this one is so budget, but it's a really raw rye kind of whiskey essence made in the South. Think of like a Paco Rabanne 1 million with a big bump of boozy whiskey, rye whiskey, a little bit of spiciness, vanilla, peppery, a little bit of an aged barrel. Bro, this is a vibe for $9 to $12. Nobody's spoken about this fragrance. I'll put a link in the description because it's not the easiest to find, but extraordinarily solid, especially for the price. I don't even think I've introduced my boy to this joint, and you know Ja loves a budget fragrance, but when he finds out something is $9, he'll go hamburger. He'll find a way to invest in this company. That's how good this damn thing is. Next one.
You smell that? What is that? A cologne? No. Opportunity.
I feel like this fragrance is an ode to Russians. Killian's Vodka on the Rocks is such a photorealistic, super boozy, intense vodka. We're talking about Georgie vodka up in this piece, and this joint is by the House of Mason Alhambra, and that is Kismet Moscow. This is a clone of Killian's Vodka on the Rocks, and I feel like this is true alcohol in here. No, seriously. There's gotta be vodka in here. I mean, for view's sake, I'm willing to spray this in my mouth, but I won't do that because, well, I can't die this week. I got shit to do.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I still have some work to do.
There's fruity elements in here, and there's a white cocaine-ish tuberose dryness in this scent profile.
It's cocaína!
That really adds to the element of booze, like white clear, distilled, prohibition, moonshine smuggling.
Moonshine
is what this fragrance has. I don't wear this fragrance hardly ever, to be honest with you. This is just, it's wildly intense. Like, I'm kind of suspect wearing this joint because you will be looking like a drunkie. It's gonna look like you walked out of an Irish pub and really say, hey, let me get a vodka. What kind of vodka? The one. The one next to the spit and piss, please. $2? Perfect. That's what you get with Kismet Moscow. It's a good fragrance. It's just, don't drive and wear this shit because you will get, you're gonna get a breathalyzer. Next one. Incredible fragrance. For the price, it is phenomenal. It might be a little bit easier to find right now, but it was quite difficult for some point when it had a significant hype behind it. And the name really says it all in this fragrance, and that's Bath & Body Works Coffee and Whiskey. It's just that. It's coffee and whiskey. For the love of baby Jesus, this is phenomenal. It's so on point with the name. You can't even play, like, don't play with this joint. Talk to it nice.
Respect!
Beautifully roasted Juan Valdez coffee beans, a little bit Bustelo action Americanized, and a nice little Johnny Walker Red. Let's keep it budget. Let's not say try to go, okay, it's Johnny Walker, it's not. It's Johnny Walker Red, and some people like it, especially like in our Caribbeans. It's a cocktail whiskey. It's a little bit milky, latte-ish, frothy. It's like throwing a little Sambuca in your coffee in the morning. Don't act like y'all didn't do that. Like, I no longer drink coffee anymore because of the back in the day I used to align it, and now I get flashbacks and I might relapse. Ever happen to you? Maybe not. But coffee and whiskey from Bath & Body Works is one you absolutely should cop if you are able to cop it. Like, I keep this shit low key and don't really rock it too much because I don't know if I'll be able to get another one, and I don't want to pay OD marked up prices because technically this shit was under $60. Actually even cheaper retail. So nowadays, just shop it around. You'll still be able to find it in that price point. Just might have to do a little bit of a digging, but it'll be well worth it. Next one. Smoked clove and barrel aged bourbon is what you're gonna get in this ultra cheap fragrance. So cheap and so available, you can potentially walk into Target, Walmart, Rite Aid, Walgreens, and pick up this particular fragrance, and it's actually not bad, and that's Distiller's Blend by Cremo, number 13. Fragrance is actually really nice. It smells like a beautiful aged bourbon with a little bit of an orange rind just sitting on top of it, garnished with like a little clove accent. It also has this beautiful bitterness about it, like bitter citric orange, kind of like a mojo style vibe. The clove action is there. You absolutely get that bourbon essence, but it's got vibrancy, life, energy, nice punch of musk, a good amount of black pepper in it. It's a really solid, super cheap fragrance. Like, if you're complaining about price points nowadays in this holiday season, Cremo Distiller Blend number 13 should not be one that's affecting your bank. If it is, you are in serious need of financial counseling. Next one. Now, in keeping with that coffee and boozy vibe, this is supposed to be a clone of Killian's Intoxicated, a fragrance that I'm not uber familiar with, but this particular budget cheapie, which I love the name, You're Drugged by Amir, is just that. It's also in that latte-ish coffee space with a deep, dark, dense element about it. Triple D's, my favorite. So the interesting thing about this particular fragrance was, yeah, there's a bit of a dry, musky, gingery element to this fragrance with this coffee and whiskey vibe that's a little bit unusual, to be honest with you. And the opening, it's not really that amazing. On the skin, it really has to adapt to each one's personal pH, right? But on my skin, it kind of plays off really nicely. The musk seems to come from the top and just live in that base, and the coffee seems to be a bit more of the star than anything else. So it's a coffee with a spicy kind of licorice element and this muskiness, right? But then followed by a nice little boozy element there that lives in the whiskey space, but sometimes screams to be like a little bit of a rum action, like a dark Caribbean style rum, maybe throwing a little Captain Morgan up or something like that. I get more of that essence than a whiskey vibe. And the coffee note in here is more like a espresso. You could just smell like the thickness, like it's a coffee that the drip is like instead of just like a trickle, 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 it's more of like an instant drop type situation. Get me? Slow roast, rich, just thick. What's that coffee? What's the coffee? The real thick coffee that they drink in, is it Greece or something like that? It has a name. I don't know what the hell is name. Maybe it's Greek coffee. I'm not 100% sure. Ultra thick. That's some of the that I think is like gitanas and the gypsies and shit that when they drink it, they start reading your coffee beans and like, oh, you got AIDS or some crazy shit like that. I don't know. Was that too much? But that's what you're getting out of this fragrance. Really cheap, but definitely a punch of whiskey, but more of a rum on the full dry down. Very unusual, but if you're looking for a Killian Intoxicated clone that has all that booze element and possible drug rehab vibe, well then you're drugged. yeah, next one. Possibly one of the most hyped cheap fragrances around right now, but it's nice, nutty, vanillic, smooth, and you've heard it so many times, but I had to put it on this list because camera is just popping in these streets. I've left this shit alone for the fear of being in a social circle with 4 people are wearing this joint. That's how ridiculously hyped it is because it's really that good. But there's really not much to say about this particular fragrance. It all lives in that nutty, praline, vanillic, boozy, sexy, intimate, warm, date night kind of scenario. Very good, very hyped, still very cheap, readily available anywhere and everywhere under the $60 space. Shop it around, have it in your repertoire. It's not gonna break the bank and you'll see why the hype is crazy. Next one. Now this is a good boozy fragrance, but it's ultra polarizing on my skin. There's times that I enjoyed wearing it. There's other times that I'm like, why did I like this fragrance? It doesn't have the hype that it used to have back in the day. However, it's still up there with one of the best boozy car fragrances out there, and that's Bentley Intense for Men. It's good-ish. Along with some other fragrances, I've had performance issues with this one, and not the performance issues that I usually take a pill for in the middle of the night and trying to wake my wife up from drunken stupor like, shh, when can we play now? It's more of like sometimes it'll perform decently well off of my skin and other times it's kind of just subpar. There's sometimes a little bit of an off-putting cat piss kind of situation coming off my skin, and then there's other times that I'm like, ooh, I like this vibe. I don't know if it's psychological, how the notes hit, what macerations, at what periods or seasons that I wore this joint, but it's just weird off of my skin. But I'm in the minority. There's people who really like this joint, and I still think it's a very good scent for a car brand designer manufacturer. And fragrance is wildly subjective, right? So since it's not like, oh my god, my balls are dripping in horniness because I'm wearing this fragrance, it's still a really good budget boozy fragrance. Just because it's not great for me doesn't mean it's not gonna be outstanding for you. You can probably find 50, 60, 100 videos on this particular fragrance of people being blown away. Shit, one of them might be mine, but there are times that on my skin throughout the years that I've had this fragrance that I'm like, I don't want to take a chance and like blow the entire day feeling that, oh, this fragrance is gonna be phenomenal like it was last time, and then this time I'm like, you just fucked up my entire vibra, fam. Like, ugh. So it's cheap enough that you can take a roll of the dice and see how this joint smells on you. You can probably find a small one, maybe potentially get a sample somewhere out there, but the sample price will probably be as much as this bottle. So take the plunge and see if Bentley for Men Intense is your type of energy or vibe, because it doesn't get much wear in this house. Next one. This fragrance for me has a hidden booze note. It's not listed in the notes, but there is a lot of boozy energy in here with this gorgeous, creamy, caramel, coconutish, nighttime in a vacation resort type of vibe with Paco Rabanne Excess Night. Excess Night is one that really I haven't paid a lot of attention to in the last months, maybe year, and only comes back in the radar when I start doing these lists to put you guys onto fragrances that I've enjoyed. It's kind of a reminder like, Coobs, you got this shit, wear the joint, cause you liked it, and it's fucking good. Let's hit it in the air real quick. Yeah, bro. It's like a liqueur. It's not dark, it's not fully bright, it's beautifully chocolatey, caramel, leathery. Ooh, beautiful blend of spice. But I feel like it's a confusing alcohol kind of vibe. I don't necessarily pinpoint it being a full darky or light. There's a little bit of element here that kind of smell juniperish. Then it's being masked by this chocolatey caramel kind of blend. It just screams, come, let's fuck.
Let's fucking do it.
Alcohol, boning, kind of goes hand in hand.
But if your left hand sees how much fun your right hand is having, it won't want to be left out.
Ooh, did that sound naughty like Bill Cosby-ish? No, that was drugging. Never mind. Very elegant, very sexy, very dark, very mysterious, caramely, delicious, uber masculine. And it has a seductive, mysterious, boozy element in this joint that I can't quite pinpoint, but I don't need to because shit is fire. And finally, this one is the most expensive fragrance in this list. Shop it around, probably wait during the deal so it can be brought down into that. In the 1.7 ml, it lives in that $70 space, so I'm passing the budget because it's my scent of the day. And I brought it out for more nostalgic reasons because it's just an OG and the legend should absolutely get their flowers every time, like if we're on Drink Champs. That's Dior Fahrenheit. Like, fam, this is just OG of OGs, bro. Like, bro, the name says it all. Like, don't go for the hype all the time. Like, pull out the OG scents and see what type of energy you're on. This is full Bobby is drunk at the party. This is the dude with the full dad bod. I'm talking about that hard round belly. The shirt is open 3-4 buttons, got a couple of chains on with some saints that he doesn't even remember. The hair is full slick back with a nice shine, and then you see the nice receding hair gaps. You know he's got the top pocket and maybe the 4 pockets if he's got the Guayabera fit on deck, but one of them got a stogie in it. He ain't putting out a lighter because he's a classic OG. He's pulling out the matchbox, bang, with the long sticks, you know what I'm saying? Smoking it when this is a no smoking section, because I care.
Somebody's going to die tonight.
Papi pulled back in the day. These are some of the OGs that really had that labia, that tongue, that mouth magic. Pause, sounded crazy. But can woo anybody despite his physical appearance because his game was so strong. His presence and confidence was through the roof. He would walk into the place like he was a soprano. He owned the scene. Masculinity when men were men, not when they tried to give you 15 pronouns and they don't figure out what the fuck is what. God, 2023 gives me a migraine. But this is masculinity at its finest, bro. I needed to pull something out that brought me back to the times that I've enjoyed. The youth, the energy. Find my inner hood rat again. You know, I've said it in my Patreon before. Uncle Cuba has a past, and it's a very interesting past. It's kind of movie-esque. If you go to my Patreon, you can actually listen to some of my backstory, which might surprise people or might be like, yeah, I knew that. But this brings me back to those times and the element of the type of people that I was around. Like, I'm not here, I was a block pusher, nothing like that, but it's a little bit different. And in those times, people may see it as, ooh, that's crazy, that's traumatic, that's wild, that you should be in jail. But I see it as some of the things that define me, some of the things that made me, that turned me into the person that I am today. Dysfunctional, crazy, and have mental issues.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Taking mental photographs.
But handsome, wild, and super entertaining, I guess.
Yes, of course.
And Dior Fahrenheit brings that out in me. This is a fragrance that will forever be in my collection. Incredible petroleum violet leaf booze, hard body cigarette. Men's are men's. Rest my case, Your Honor. I love y'all mother suckers from the heart. What do you think of the list of the boozy fragrances? And give me 5 of your favorite boozy budget fragrances that'll help you blow the bag. I'll see y'all snitches next time. Have a happy, beautiful holidays. And send me a little flan or tres leches, alright? A little tiramisu too. Smooch.
Don't play. Hey, for all the chicks that got dead in the penthouse suite on top of my mom's crib. It's nonsense, you never get in. It's nonsense that you would think that